Welcome back to Heel Shit Weekend Wrestling, Episode 1. Thank you for joining us. If you could do us a huge favor, like and subscribe to the channel, like the podcast, wherever you get your podcast from, Heel Shit Podcast, all social media, Heel Shit Podcast. We make it real easy, HeelShitPodcast.com. Also, we got the merch going right now.
Oh, you got the new merch.
Got
You
the
got the
merch.
new merch. My God. How is the quality of that shit?
Oh, the quality is fucking fantastic. It,
Hell yeah.
it so if you guys go to teespring.com, and just search for Heel Shit Podcast, take you right to our store. Good shit.
Hell yeah.
Good shit. Um, God damn, stop messaging me. I don't know if these messages are gonna pop up on screen or not.
They will. We are fucking live. Just get over the shit and keep going.
It is. All right. So, Draven, what are we talking about today?
Oh, we got a few things we want to cover. Number one, first and foremost, John Cena's return to WWE. What does that mean for Austin Theory? What does that mean for WrestleMania? Most importantly, what does that mean for the United States Championship? Number two, the rumors of AEW having a third show. They're going to try to follow the whole 605 kind of deal that TBS did back in the 80s and 90s. That's going to be interesting. We'll talk about that. Also, the whole little Brian Cage thing that we were talking about, we figured it'd be a good little thing to cover up on this one. And finally, the Reach for Your Sky ladder match for the now vacant Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships after Mark Briscoe vacated the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. So let's get into the down and dirty. I just want to go ahead and get this shit out of the way because I mean he's always talking about himself, calling me get my shit in. Let's talk about Brian Cage.
Yeah.
Please get this shit over with so we don't have to talk about this fucking self mark ever again.
I just got one question about this whole Brian Cage saga. Who gives a fuck? Like, seriously. I know I'm going to risk offending all three diehard Brian Cage fans, but seriously, why are we even talking about this guy? Brian Cage.
There's no other reason other than the fact that his contract's coming up in AEW and he doesn't want to resign with AEW or Ring of Honor. That's it. And right now he's the Ring of Honor six-man tag team champion. Why? I don't fucking know. It perplexes me to this day. Ever since he was in Impact and he was had that fucking mentality of Mr. GMHI, get my shit in. Like he buries anybody he fucking gets in the ring with. He it's almost like AEW slash Ring of Honor's version of fucking Bray Wyatt right now. Nobody comes out better from a Brian Cage feud. It's
Well, not only
it's
that,
disturbing
but
as fuck.
uh, look, you could scrape off some of MJF's charisma and fling it on Brian Cage, and it would die as soon as it hit his skin. There is Brian Cage is where charisma goes to die. Okay, he's mad
I 100%
athletic.
agree.
He's got a great physique. Obviously works hard. But if he thinks that he's gonna make it in WWE when it's more
Or
entertainment
anywhere.
than wrestling, he's out of his
Or
fucking
anywhere.
mind.
Let's be real. Like
This
this day and age, he won't even survive New Japan. He won't survive pro wrestling Noah, DDT, All Japan, fucking AAA, CMLL. He will not make it fucking anywhere, and it's because solely on his fucking shit attitude and how he sees the business of how he has to get his shit in, how he has to get his shit over, and fuck everyone else.
well
And
since
the
the
fact
news
that Tony
cycle.
Khan, the fact that fucking Tony Khan actually went out and printed a fucking contract to this motherfucker, this piece of shit, is beyond me. There's so many other talents from South Florida to fucking Northern Maine, all around the fucking globe, that deserve a fucking contract of his fucking equality, if not more, than fucking Brian Cage. And it's fucking sick as fuck. Yes, I get it. The motherfucker is built like a goddamn beast. He is a fucking machine, no pun intended. But at the end of the day, his fucking attitude is just what kills everything.
Yeah, and since the news cycle is everyone thinking he's going to WWE, or the cycle is that WWE's interested in him. You don't just get your shit in WWE. Those matches are
Absolutely not.
agented, they're produced. If your shit isn't in line with the story they're going to tell, you don't get your shit in. Like, sorry, it doesn't work like that in the WWE. And the fact that they would have to send this motherfucker to acting school, and unless he becomes a Paul Heyman guy, he can't make it. I'm sorry, he can't make it.
Well, he's not Samoan as at this point, so he's not going to fucking be a part of anything Paul Heyman has for a long time. Uh, I dare say, God rest his fucking soul, I don't think Dusty Rhodes could fucking get this guy over with any sort of fucking charisma. This would be the guy that Dusty Rhodes would look at this guy and go, you know what, baby? I'm done. I can't deal with this shit. I'm done. I'm out of here. Bye, baby. The money's not worth it. It legitimately, he would be the one guy Dusty Rhodes could not fucking get over as a fucking character, and it's just, it's. Hold on. What do you think? My fucking cat says the fucking Brian Cage is shit. What does that tell you? My fucking cat that never watches fucking wrestling, sitting right here. Yes, Mrs. Bigglesworth, I love you too. Does not fucking like Brian Cage. Come on now.
That cat has more charisma than Brian Cage.
I love this fucking cat. Let me tell you that right now. This cat hates everybody in the world but fucking me. I fucking love this cat.
That's awesome. But yeah, no, I
You know what?
mean, whatever. I think that's all I gotta say about Brian Cage.
Honestly, I think we wasted more than enough time talking about that piece of fucking dog shit. Oh, so before we move on, let's go ahead and get the sponsorship out of the way. Mr. Dark Horse, who is today's sponsor, my guy?
Today's sponsor is Castell Vodka, Kastell, vodka.com. Check it out, the website, the Facebook page, Instagram, everything. Castell Vodka, smoothest vodka I've ever had. I'm on vacation in my hotel room right now, or else I'd have a bottle with me. Got a bottle at me with me all the time.
I get back from vacation.
Right.
I get back from vacation. You jump on vacation. Okay.
But yeah, no.
Fair is fair. Fair is fair.
The best vodka, hands down, on the planet. You drink it straight with ice. Don't even need a mixer, no chaser. Just it's a great vodka. No hangover. If you go to your local liquor store, your local bar, they need Castell Vodka. It'll be a huge hit. So thank the guys over at Castell Vodka for sponsoring this.
What you're saying is that shit is smooth.
Smooth
shit.
Smooth shit.
Gotcha.
Absolutely.
Again, thank you to Castell Vodka for sponsoring this episode and being a sponsor on our series. Moving on.
Speaking of smooth,
AEW's third show, the 605 show.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this? Given the fact that they already have Dynamite, Rampage, Elevation Dark, and now they're putting on a third cable network show. Why not just take Dark or Dark Elevation and just move it into that time slot? You already have so much fucking talent already working those shows. Why not put that there? More or less, why not take your Ring of Honor and instead of putting it on honorclub.com, $9.99 a month, you could just put in that 605 time slot and get it on cable TV for the national audience.
Well, before we go on, let me, this story is broken by Wrestling News Co. On Instagram, so I want to give them the credit for breaking this story, at least where I saw it.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
But they're talking about giving them the old WCW Saturday night slot, the 6:05 on Saturday evening, and I think the reason why they don't do that is because those YouTube shows are successful in their own right, and they're not television worthy shows. I mean, they're just match after match after match after match. There's commentary during the matches, but it's not a show. So I think they keep those shows as the proving ground, the training ground, and because they do have so much talent, I think they can add another hour to what they have and not make it stale in the least bit.
Okay, I can see your point, but let's counterpoint that. NXT was the same thing essentially, except instead of YouTube, it was on the network or on Hulu Plus when I was first watching it. Uh, but it had the same thing. Why take something that people already paid money for and then put it on cable TV, which is essentially for fucking free?
Well, everything on their YouTube shows are free also, but um, I think that they need to produce an entire show with segments, produce it like a television show, and quite honestly, a 6 o'clock time slot on a Saturday night, they don't have to do very well to make it successful. I mean, that time slot is not supposed to be gangbusters. So it's not going to have to pull many more numbers than Rampage does.
Right. So what do you think that means for the championships that they have? Because they already have the AEW World Title. They have what is now the International Championship, which is
Much
ordered.
better
It's
than
on its
anything.
way. Oh, it's going to be fucking fantastic when I get in hand. You have the TNT title. You have the tag team championships. You have the six-man tag team championships, or trios, excuse me. You have the women's championship and the TBS championship. Don't you think there's already too many fucking titles as it is? Like,
I don't think that you make
because
enough enjoyable.
Tony's going to put a fucking title on that show,
I
whether
don't.
he makes a new title or transfers something over.
I don't think it's going to work like that. And if you'll remember back, because I grew up a huge WCW guy, so if you'll
Hmm.
remember, even when they were running their their major TV shows, the Saturday night show wasn't that involved in storylines. Like I used to try to rush home to get on the Saturday night show because Sting was always like the first or second match. Like
Hmm.
it wasn't a fully Jesus Christ. It wasn't a fully scripted. Well, it was scripted obviously, but it wasn't Nitro. It had its
Right.
place. So I think sure you can have a champion show up every once in a while, especially if depending on what channel they show it on. You could easily see Jade Cargill showing up on that show. You know.
So basically, what you're telling me is they're going to use this show specifically for enhancement kind of shit to enhance stories, not really title driven, in
Yeah.
your opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that, but I've also seen how Tony Khan does.
Yeah.
Anytime, he either gets on a new channel or gets a new show, got to have a title.
Well,
He got on TBS. Jay Cargill got TBS Championship. Fucking the AEW World Title wasn't enough. He had the TNT fucking title made. The fucking tag team championships wasn't enough. He made the six-man tag.
yeah,
Fucking,
but I
and
mean,
then
I
for
think
some ungodly fucking reason, the All Atlantic title was made for no fucking reason that
well,
I
I'm glad
saw,
they
other
changed
than
the
just
name.
having another division to fucking win titles.
Yeah. No,
And
I think
at this point, I hope you're correct on it.
I think there are legitimate reasons behind all of those titles, though. I mean, to be fair, the trios titles were one of the most impressive things on Lucha Underground, and nobody else in America has a trios title. So I can see what the appeal was for that. Obviously, every TV company has to have a TV title, so just because they called it the TNT Championship doesn't really, it's still their TV belt. And I think unless unless there was a lot of notice given, I don't know that he ever really wanted to move to TBS, and he never needed that TBS championship. But I think, I would think that because you're on it and you had a TNT title, it's kind of a natural evolution. Um,
Right. Then why not just call it the fucking television title? That way it doesn't
because
feel
it's
like
a
it's
women's
held
title.
on TNT. You know what I mean? Like watching TBS and you're seeing the TNT title on there doesn't kind of feel right. Why not just go ahead and
Yeah,
call it the television title?
yeah.
You know what I mean?
'Cause that's generic.
I mean,
That's
each
I
their
don't know.
own.
I
I
don't have a
mean,
problem with the TNT title. I don't. No, it is.
At
I,
some point they'll probably have a social media title.
oh Jesus Christ.
Still in my shit. They're still in my
Well,
shit.
wasn't it Impact that introduced that digital media championship?
Oh, that
Um,
was hot garbage. But I mean, again, you don't watch fucking Impact like I do. Like I actually follow it pretty well. And I ain't seen that fucking title anywhere on a fucking show in weeks. And I
well,
believe
Jordan
was
Grace
it Brian
started
Myers
with
has
it,
it?
and then Jordan Grace
Yes, you're
finally
welcome. Did
lost it to Matt Cardona, right? And then I don't
Brian
know,
Myers?
Brian Myers.
Yeah,
Well,
same
whatever.
person essentially. They're all edge heads.
No, I'm
They're
pretty
all edge
sure
heads.
that Matt Cardona won it before Brian Myers won it. I think he was the one who won it from Jordan Grace. But
I'd have to go back and watch it. That just shows you how much I care about the fucking that fucking title. If it ain't
yeah,
the Impact World Title, the Tag Team titles, or the Women's title, I don't even give a fuck about the X Division title anymore because it's just watered down.
well, the only
But
reason that I cared about it is just because I'm a Jordan Grace fan. That's the one thing I try to follow Impact for.
you said Mark wrong. You said Mark wrong. We know that's your wife. Let's not lie.
Whatever, homie. um,
Yeah,
so well, the
I
story I
know.
was hoping you were going to go into after the Castle Vodka promo was I was going to say, speaking of smooth, John Cena came back last week.
Well, I was trying to save that for the main event, but we'll talk about that now.
Let's talk about that because I mean, anytime the Briscoes are involved for the next little while, I'm fine having them be the mains. So let's talk about John Cena. Um,
John Cena. Okay. What are
that
your
dude,
thoughts on this?
I know he's going to lose at WrestleMania,
You think so?
but god damn it, he made Austin Theory look like an amateur in that promo. Like,
He may look like a petulant child.
and you know that Cena is one of the few talents up there with The Rock that they don't script his shit. So
No, hell no.
that whole thing about piping in ring crowd noise because no one gives a shit, like that was beautiful and it's absolutely true. Like that little prick tried
Hmm.
to say something about him being the best U.S. champion, and Cena's got. You'll see him next week in my top 10 list, but there's very
I
few
think he'll be
people.
in anybody's top 10 list, man, to be
Yeah,
honest.
I think, especially on the mic, man, he just torched that kid, and he's
Yeah.
100% right.
Yeah.
I have never been on the Austin Theory bandwagon. I can't do it. He's I don't know,
Well,
just not for me.
we've had talks about that whole bandwagon thing, and it's like I told you weeks ago, whether we did it on air or off air. You know, I watched him when he first started in Evolve, when he was just an independent guy trying to build himself up as a rookie. That's the Austin Theory, that character. That's the character it needs to be on Monday Night Raw, and I can see them starting to bring that in, the kind of edginess of WWE's watered down version of edginess. I can see them starting to push that, but I think it's too soon to put him with somebody like Cena. Now, granted, I get it. Cena's either going to make him a star or he's going to fucking bury him one way or another.
Mm,
In my opinion, either way, Theory's fucked. If Theory goes over, he can't go over clean against fucking Cena. There's no fucking way. There's gonna be a fucking cheap trick to it.
right.
If fucking Cena wins, he wins the fucking United States Championship for 4 or 5 time United States champion. But what does that do to the United States Championship? At this point, it's where the Intercontinental title was fucking 2 years ago.
Mm,
It's a moot point.
yeah.
I'm sorry. This is not the right call to put Theory with somebody like Cena right now. If you
Yeah.
needed to put Cena with somebody, put him with somebody that is already kind of established, Walter, and fucking have them fucking feud.
Right.
Since they're not gonna give me fucking Walter versus Lesnar, the pieces of shit. We'll get on that another time. And have fucking Theory work. Somebody that can fucking carry him through. Not saying Cena can't, but Cena doesn't need to do that. If anything, it's gonna put a blemish on Cena's fucking career, in
Right.
my opinion, right now, where Austin Theory is. And I've defended Austin Theory quite a few times to you. But right now, Cena Theory does not make sense to me.
Yeah.
Actually, half the WrestleMania card doesn't fucking make sense to me right now, which is why I think personally, fucking Vinny Rue is back on the fucking stand trying to take over shit. But that's
Yeah.
for another time. But
Yeah.
you know,
I'm.
right offhand, put fucking Austin Theory with one of your baby faces, get them fucking build up more. You know, I
Mm,
mean, you already got Sammy and KO. They're going to work the Usos. That's a given. You got fucking Lesnar working fucking almost. You can't call him anything other than that. I'll fucking kill you. You got fucking Bray and Lashley for some ungodly fucking reason. And then the only match that really makes sense is fucking Reigns and Cody.
right.
Reigns and Cody, the Usos, KO, and Sammy. Nothing else makes sense on this card. And we're what? 3 weeks out, 4 weeks out from Mania,
Yeah.
and
I
we
don't
only
know
have
how they're
five
gonna.
matches announced for 2 nights.
Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna pull
So,
it all together, but I'm happy John's back. I mean, he's you
oh
know,
yeah,
he still looks great. He's smaller than he was, but because he doesn't need to be as big in Hollywood, but he's still jacked. He still looks great. That whole thing about
yeah, he still makes us look out of shit.
that whole thing about Theory making fun of his bald spot and then saying, "I can go get some topical. You still suck."
Yeah,
that, that was
dude, there was no jabs held back.
mm,
That almost reminded me. That promo almost reminded me of when Cena and Roman had that 20-minute promo back and forth. You remember that one? The
oh
one at the not the stuff in Succotash promo, but like when he was in like the whole authority versus Roman thing, and they had
yeah,
Cena come in and do some shit. Yeah,
yeah,
that fucking promo is what that promo reminded me of from Monday
yeah,
night.
because he was just like he was chastising a child that wasn't had no
Yeah,
business in the ring with the microphone with him. I mean, that's one of the things about him. Is like if you, it's fine. Come out. You say your script. Be respectful, or he's just gonna go off script and make you look like a bitch. And it's
and that's
happened to
exactly what
person
happened.
after person. And
Dude,
Theory
it
is
happened to Dwayne. The build up to WrestleMania 27 and 28. It happened to fucking Dwayne.
yeah,
I mean, the whole main event for WrestleMania 27 was Miz versus Cena, but I don't remember anything about Miz versus Cena storyline. It was always The Rock and John Cena fucking jabbing back and forth.
right, yeah,
And fucking, as I was listening to a podcast earlier today, I believe it was Cornette's Dryford podcast. He was going on the whole thing from the WWE Rivals show on A&E that, Cena called out the fact that Dwayne had half his promo written in his fucking palm.
no shit, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, dude, go back. I can't remember which promo. I'll find it and I'll send it to you. And we'll link it to this show.
mm.
But there's a promo between Cena and Dwayne where Cena points right at his palm and says, "At least I don't need bullet points for my promos." And it's like plain as fucking day, right there,
So
right
funny.
in the palm of his hand. Like I was like,
Yeah,
"Fuck, you got
classic.
away with that." The bitch calls
uh,
you fucking fruity pebbles, and you're getting away with that shit.
yeah.
Touche.
Mhm. Touche.
Like Cena's not the one to be fucked with on the microphone.
Not at all. Not at all. Um,
Fuck,
yeah.
dude. That's
Well,
good shit though.
tell us about the Briscoes.
Oh, well, as we all know, back in January we did lose Jay in that most unfortunate accident, right? Which for the longest time, nobody really cared about the ROH Tag Team Championships because, we're more worried about Mark the person, not Mark the worker, not Mark the champion.
Right.
Well, Mark Briscoe went on AEW Rampage this past Friday night and announced that there will be a ladder match at Supercard of Honor on March 31st on ringofhonor.com.
Right.
There will be 6 tag teams, which he announced the Lucha Bros at first. And then he announced later on his social media that he will be vacating the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships to make
Okay.
way for 6 teams to create their own history in the Reach for the Sky ladder match.
Okay.
That was a very classy move, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Did Mark need to do that? No, he could have found himself another tag team partner. But the fact that the legacy of those titles means so much to his family that he does not want to keep carrying them if his brother's not there. It's heartwarming to me. Like
Yeah,
you don't get much more love than that than what the Briscoes meant to each other, and
yeah,
it was just beautiful.
yeah.
I'm very interested to see where Mark goes from here. I did read rumors about him facing Samoa Joe for the Ring of Honor television title at Supercard Honor. I ain't
I
seen
al-
anything confirmed about that yet.
I also heard, and this might be more confirmed, that it was going to be Mark versus Claudio for the Ring of Honor Heavyweight Championship. Um,
I would love to see that match. I would
you might
love
want
that.
might want to look it up because I know I didn't dream it. I mean, it might be just a rumor, but it's the rumor that I
Right.
heard. I did not hear the Samoa
Well,
Joe rumor.
well, where I read the Samoa Joe thing was also the same article that had the Reach for the Skyladder match and the social media post about him vacating the title,
Okay.
and that was from Sean Ross. So Sean Ross is very good about posting legitimate, truthful things.
Yeah,
It's not like
he's a great
it's not like
journalist.
Uncle Dave posted that shit. Like I don't believe half the shit Uncle Dave posts anymore. And
Yeah,
for those of you that don't know who Uncle Dave is, it's Dave Meltzer, the star rating guy, Mr. 5 star, 6, 7, whatever star level he's at now.
hey, MJF
But
and Brian Danielson got 5.8 stars. I don't know
yeah,
where that
they
number came
did.
from.
Congratulations to them, by the way.
5.8.
Now
Yeah.
I know we weren't going to talk about that at all tonight, but let's go ahead and talk about that promo that. Ow. Let's go ahead and talk about that promo that Brian Danielson shot after his match.
Oh man.
Since we got a couple minutes.
And
That I want to go home match
and
or
my
the promo.
my Butterfingers, the video on this is gonna be so fucked up. But
It's
whatever.
all good. It's all good. For those of you on YouTube, please bear with us. He is on vacation and did not think about bringing his tripod.
That's right. Um,
Jesus.
yeah.
That's why
No,
you have
the
tripods in your bag.
I all right. Insert your own dirty joke there. I'm going to just admit about Brian. I mean, he deserves a break. I mean,
Yeah.
he's he's been huffing it. He loves to wrestle. I mean, he's several times have wrestled multiple times a week in AEW, and he wrestled like a madman in WWE when they allowed him to. Um,
Yep.
he does need to go home for a little while. I think he'll be back. Obviously, I think he'll eventually be AEW champion. I just don't think it was time for
Oh,
Max
that's a
to.
given.
Yeah, I don't think it's time. It was time for Max to be done. But I think
Oh no,
Brian
'cause
will be gone.
in my opinion, anytime that at least with AEW, anytime they crown a new champion, you know he's going to have it for quite a time. That's kind of what surprised me about the whole Will Hobbs Wardlow match this past Wednesday on Dynamite.
Hmm.
Did you watch? You watched that, right?
Oh yeah, I saw that horse shit.
Yeah,
Look,
that was a shocker.
I was fine letting Hobbs win because I think he is gonna be a mega star. But QT, like how it happened, like I
The
don't
fact
know.
that Wardlow only had it for 3 days, though, like you kind of not saying you could legitimately did, but you kind of buried Wardlow. Just
Yeah,
let him win the title from Joe for him to lose to Hobbs 3 days later. If that's the case, why not let Wardlow fucking lose and then have Joe fucking face the winner?
right. Yeah,
Like, that kind of hurt Wardlow.
I don't like the 3 day title reign. I think it, you know, if they had given it to Hobbs on the next pay per view, I would have been completely fine with it. But
Yeah, I mean, that's
you
kind of
know,
what I said was going to happen, though. That was the logical thing is let it happen at Double or Nothing in May.
mhm,
You know,
yeah, they could have
TK
had a
does what
nice
TK
long
wants.
feud. They could have had a nice long feud. Two beasts. It would have been,
Hmm.
old school meat slapping, and it would have been
Yep.
a great feud leading up to that. And then, they could have done the street
Now,
fight then. They didn't have to do that. I don't know. know. I just think it
No.
was bad booking.
All right, but now, do you think though, since you brought up the street fight stipulation and why the street fight stipulation happened, do you think the fact that Wardlow had the title stolen for shoot had any effect on the decision making?
I think this was probably the plan, which is why I think it was bad booking because obviously the break in, unless they pull a swerve, that was that's terrible. But I think the
Hmm.
entire time the plan was for Hobbs to win it when this happened. I think what they're going to do, and they've already showed signs of it, is they're going to use the real world burglary into a work. QT is
Well,
going to be
they kind of did the same thing with Jericho back when he had the title stolen from the airport.
right.
Right.
Yeah,
So
so
I
you're
mean, it
going
ain't the
to
first time they've
have
done that.
right, and they've already had QT, make a Twitter post about, I wonder who stole your belt, haha,
Yeah,
some coy bullshit. Um,
I saw that.
QT is an amazing trainer, and he's a good wrestler, great trainer, great wrestler. Just keep him off my TV. Sorry.
Right. Well, I mean, he kind of does suck the air out of the room. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like,
Yeah.
I don't, as great as a worker he is, he almost reminds me of this generation's Lance Storm.
Yeah.
And the lack of character department, as great a worker as he is, there's just no character there for me to get behind. And
Okay.
there is a difference between Lance Storm not having a character and then motherfucking Brian Cage not having a fucking character. It's two completely different things. At least with Lance Storm, he knows how to work. He knows how to get you over as well as get himself over. As
Right.
with Brian, he only cares about getting his shit over.
Right.
So
Just to get my shit in. See if he gets his shit in when the E is looking over his shoulder. I don't think. I just
I,
don't see it working.
I honestly don't see that happening. Like once they're in like legit negotiations and shit, they're gonna see Brian's true colors. And
Yeah.
they're gonna pull the contract. But
I mean, he was with them at one point, right? Like before NXT was a thing. I think he was on
yeah,
FC.
he had a little stint in there, but that was before he had that fucking massive ego and the massive build up.
Yeah.
Like he was still just like some scrawny punk ass kid, still
Right.
learning.
Right. Yeah.
But
I don't know. Well, best of luck to all of them. I just don't see what the hype is about. But
no, not at all.
well, guys, I
Oh.
appreciate you very much for joining us for our first weekly weekend wrestling episode, and we will catch you on the next one. Peace.
Yes, sir.